The night was quiet and the wind moved softly through the trees near a small house at the edge of the forest. A man named Rin sat on his porch with a cup of tea in his hands. He liked silence and he liked watching the stars. Every night he would look up, searching for something that even he could not name. The stars always gave him a strange feeling, like they were trying to tell him something he could not remember. Rin was an ordinary man. He worked in a small town nearby and lived a simple life. His house was small but peaceful, surrounded by tall trees. He often spent his evenings sitting alone, reading or thinking. That night felt normal until a sudden light broke the darkness. It was not like lightning or a plane. It came from the sky, bright and silver, moving slowly above the forest. The ground began to tremble slightly and the air filled with a low humming sound. Rin stood up quickly. His heart beat fast and he felt a mix of fear and curiosity. He tried to tell himself it was maybe a meteor or a new satellite, but deep down he knew it was something different. The light began to descend toward the forest not far from his home. Without thinking too much, he grabbed his flashlight and started walking toward it. The forest was quiet except for the sound of his shoes crushing dry leaves. As he went deeper, he noticed that animals had gone silent. Even the wind stopped. There was only that strange humming sound. It grew louder the closer he got. His flashlight flickered once but kept working. After a few minutes, he reached a clearing. In the middle of that clearing stood a shape that did not belong to Earth. It was a tall craft, smooth and shining like liquid silver. It had no visible doors or engines, but it glowed softly as if alive. The light from it turned the trees into ghostly shapes. Rin felt his legs shake, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. He took a small step forward. Then the air in front of the craft rippled like water. A bright beam of light opened near its base, and from that light a figure appeared. The person who stepped out was tall, elegant, and unlike any human he had ever seen. Her skin shone faintly like silver under the moonlight. Her hair flowed behind her as if touched by invisible wind. When she looked at him, her eyes glowed a deep, calm blue that felt ancient and knowing. Rin could not speak. He only stared. The being looked at him for a long moment, and then she said something that made him freeze. She said his name, Rin. Her voice was soft but strong, echoing slightly in the air. "I finally found you," Rin blinked in shock. "You know my name?" "Who are you?" he asked, stepping back a little. The being took a gentle step forward. "I am Queen Vera of Solara," she said. "You may not remember me, but I remember you. I came to take you home." Rin felt cold all over. He wanted to laugh but couldn't. "Take me home? This is my home." "I think you are mistaken," he said, trying to sound calm, though his voice trembled. "I don't know you," Vera smiled, a slow and sad smile. "You have forgotten much, as I feared," she said. "But your heart still carries the light of Solara. I can feel it." She raised her hand slightly and a soft blue glow surrounded her palm. The light moved toward Rin, warm and gentle. For a moment he felt dizzy. Images flashed before his eyes. Tall towers of glass, twin suns shining over blue oceans, and the same woman standing beside him, her hand in his. He stepped back, gasping. "What was that?" "What did you do?" he asked, breathing fast. "I showed you a piece of what you once were," Vera said. "Long ago, before you lived here on Earth, you were part of my world. You stood beside me when we faced darkness, but when war came, I had to send you far away to keep you safe. Your spirit was reborn here as a human. I have searched for you ever since." Rin shook his head. It sounded impossible, yet the memory he had seen felt real. The towers, the suns, even her face, though they were so clear. He wanted to deny it, but something deep inside him whispered that she was telling the truth. He looked at her carefully. "If what you say is true, why come now? Why after all this time?" Vera looked at the stars. "Because the war is over. My world is healing. But I am not complete without you, Rin. I crossed galaxies to find you. I missed you." The words felt strange but powerful. Rin didn't know what to say. He stared at her and then at the strange craft behind her. The silver light reflected in his eyes. His whole life suddenly felt small compared to what she described. He rubbed his hands together nervously. "I'm just a man. I don't remember anything about your world. I have a job, a life here. I can't just leave." "I do not ask you to leave at once," Vera said gently, "but I ask you to remember. Look within and you will feel what I feel. You are not meant to live forgotten among strangers. You belong among the stars." Rin looked down at the ground, his mind spinning. The night air felt heavy. The forest around them seemed to disappear. Only he and Vera stood in that glowing light, two souls from different worlds bound by something he could not yet understand. Vera slowly walked closer until she stood just a few steps away. Her presence felt calm like the silence before sunrise. "I will not force you," she said softly. "You are human now, and humans must choose their own path. But know this, Rin. You were once more than you believe, and deep inside that light still waits." Rin said nothing. He felt both fear and wonder. He wanted to run away, but he also wanted to know more. As he stared into her glowing eyes, he realized he could not look away. Something inside him stirred, something that had slept for a very long time. The light around the clearing began to fade and the silver craft grew quiet. Vera stepped back and said, "I will return tomorrow. Think about what you have seen tonight." Before Rin could answer, she walked into the beam of light and the air rippled again. The ship rose silently into the sky until it vanished among the stars. Rin stood alone in the empty clearing, the forest quiet once more. His flashlight flickered and the night returned to normal. Yet nothing felt normal anymore. He looked up at the sky, his heart still racing. He whispered softly, "Who am I really?" The stars gave no answer, but one of them seemed to shine brighter than before. The next morning, Rin woke up early. His eyes felt heavy because he had not slept much. The memories of last night kept returning to him. The strange light, the silver ship, and the woman who called herself Queen Vera filled his mind. He tried to tell himself it was only a dream, but the smell of burned grass near the forest and a faint silver mark on his wrist told him it had been real. He sat at his kitchen table, holding the small pendant Vera had left behind. It was shaped like a teardrop, shining softly even in daylight. Inside it, faint lines formed symbols he did not understand, yet they looked familiar. Every time he touched the pendant, a warm feeling spread through his hand, as if something inside it was alive. Rin stared at it for a long time. He wanted answers, but who could he ask? No one on Earth would believe that an alien queen had come to visit him. He decided to go to work and pretend everything was normal, but his thoughts kept drifting back to her words. At his job in a small repair shop, he tried to focus, but his mind was lost among stars. His friend Darren noticed his distraction. "You look tired, Rin. Everything okay?" he asked while cleaning his hands with a cloth. Rin forced a smile. "Just didn't sleep well," he said. He wanted to tell Darren the truth, but stopped himself. It sounded impossible. No one would understand. When the day ended, Rin walked home slowly. The sun was setting behind the forest, painting the sky orange and red. He thought about the strange bond he had felt when Vera said his name. It was not just fear or curiosity. It felt like recognition. That night he sat outside again, waiting. He did not know if she would return, but a part of him hoped she would. Hours passed and the stars appeared one by one. When the wind grew colder, he started to think maybe she would not come. But then the air shimmered again above the trees and a soft blue light spread across the sky. The same silver craft descended silently and landed near the clearing. The beam of light opened and Queen Vera stepped out. Her silver glow lit the grass around her. This time Rin did not run. He stood waiting. "I see you did not forget me," Vera said with a gentle smile. Rin nodded slowly. "I don't know what to believe, but I remember what I saw. Those pictures in my mind. The towers, the suns, the sea. Were they real?" "They were memories," Vera said. "A part of your spirit once lived on Solara. You were a leader, a guardian of peace. When the Great War began, the enemy tried to destroy everything we loved. To protect you, I sent your essence across the stars to this world. You were reborn here as human." Rin listened quietly. "Why me?" he asked. "There must have been many others." Vera looked up at the stars. "Because you were not only my protector, you were my closest companion. You gave me strength when hope was lost. You believed that light could rise even after the darkest night. When you were gone, the heart of Solara grew weaker. I fought for centuries to end the war, and when peace returned, I began searching for you." Her voice carried sadness and her blue eyes shimmered like water. Rin felt something stir inside him again. He saw a flash of himself standing beside her, wearing armor that glowed faintly, holding a staff made of silver light. He saw himself smiling at her before a great battle. He stepped back, holding his head. "I keep seeing things. It feels real but far away, like someone else's life." "It is your life, Rin," Vera said softly. The memories are still there. You only need time to remember them. Rin looked at her carefully. If I was that person, why do I feel like a stranger now? Why do I not remember you clearly? Because your human form cannot carry all memories at once, she said. The journey across space broke the connection between your soul and your mind. But the bond between us survived. That is why I could find you. You carry the same energy you once had. Rin held the pendant tightly. What do you want me to do? I want you to come with me, Vera said. To see Solara again. To remember what you truly are. I will not keep you if you wish to return, but you deserve to know your real self. Rin looked toward his house, then back at her. If I go with you, what happens to my life here? My friends, my work? Your world will remain as it is, she said. Time flows differently between our worlds. You can visit and return without losing much. Rin hesitated. His heart pulled in two directions. One side wanted to stay in his simple human life. The other wanted to see the stars and the world he once knew. I am scared, he admitted quietly. I don't know if I can handle that truth. Vera smiled gently. Fear is part of being human. That is what makes your kind special. You feel deeply, yet you still move forward. That is why I loved your world before it even knew of mine. Her words surprised him. You studied Earth? Yes, she said. I watched your people for a long time. You are small compared to the universe, yet your hearts are vast. You build, dream, and love even when faced with darkness. That is something no other race can match. Rin felt warmth in her voice. He could not deny her sincerity. If I say yes, will I be able to come back? Vera nodded. Always. I will never take you from your home without choice. He looked again at the pendant. Its light seemed to respond to his heartbeat. The forest around them glowed softly from her ship's light. The wind touched the trees gently as if the world itself was listening to their words. Finally, Rin said, I will come, but not tonight. I need time to understand this. Vera bowed her head slightly. I will wait as I have waited before. Remember this, Rin, you are not only human. You are a bridge between two worlds. She turned toward the silver craft and the beam of light lifted her up. The ship rose slowly and disappeared among the stars. Rin walked back to his home in silence. He placed the pendant on his table and looked at it for a long time. His mind was full of memories he did not understand. The towers, the light, the sound of her voice calling his name in another world. Before he went to sleep, he whispered to himself, maybe I was someone else once, but I am also human now. As he closed his eyes, he dreamed of two suns shining above a blue sea and a silver queen waiting for him beyond the stars. Rin woke up early the next morning. The pendant lay on the table beside his bed, still glowing faintly. He held it in his hand and felt the warmth move through his fingers. The memory of Queen Vera's words stayed in his mind. He had dreamed again of the Silver City, the twin suns, and the endless ocean. It all felt so real, as if part of him truly belonged there. He went outside and looked at the forest. Everything seemed normal, but now he could sense something different in the air. The world felt larger than before, like a hidden door had opened inside his mind. Every sound, every color, even the light of the morning seemed brighter. For the next few days, Rin tried to live normally. He went to work, met his friend Darren, and followed his routine. Yet he found himself staring at the sky more often, wondering if Vera was watching from somewhere above. He sometimes felt her presence soft and distant, like a whisper carried by the wind. One evening, as the sun was setting, the light appeared again above the forest. Rin was ready this time. He walked calmly toward it. The same silver craft waited in the clearing, glowing softly. The air was cool, and the grass moved gently under the wind created by the ship. Vera stepped out, her calm blue eyes meeting his. You came, she said softly. Rin nodded. I said I would. I want to understand. Vera smiled. Then come with me. I will show you my world, even if only for a short time. Rin hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward. The beam of light surrounded them both, lifting them gently into the ship. He felt weightless for a few seconds, then the ground under his feet became solid again. The inside of the ship was unlike anything he had seen. The walls were smooth and shone like liquid glass. The air smelled fresh, almost like rain. Floating crystals gave off soft light, and small spheres moved silently through the air, carrying tools and objects. The whole place felt alive, not like a machine, but like something that breathed. Vera guided him through a corridor that led to a large window. When Rin looked through it, he saw the world below them shrinking, The ship rose higher and higher until the clouds looked like soft white fields. Then with a sudden flash of light, the stars appeared all around. Rin gasped as Earth became a blue circle behind them. He could see the curve of oceans and the thin glow of its atmosphere. It was beautiful and small at the same time. Vera watched him quietly. "Now you see your world as I see it," she said. "Fragile but full of life." Rin's eyes stayed fixed on the view. "It looks peaceful from here," he said. "Hard to believe how much noise and struggle there is down there." "Every world carries both peace and struggle," Vera said. "Even mine." The ship moved through space silently, faster than Rin could imagine. Stars blurred around them like rivers of light. After some time, the ship slowed and a new planet came into view. It shone with shades of blue and silver, surrounded by bright rings that sparkled like diamonds. "Welcome to Solara," Vera said proudly. Rin stared in awe. As they entered the atmosphere, he saw towers of crystal rising high, cities floating above oceans, and forests that glowed faintly in the dark. The colors were soft and calm, blending perfectly together. The whole planet seemed alive, balanced, and peaceful. The ship landed on a wide platform that overlooked a vast city. Solarans stood waiting, tall and graceful, their silver-toned skin shining under the twin suns. When Rin stepped out, they bowed slightly. He felt nervous but also strangely at home. Vera placed her hand on his shoulder. "They remember you," she said, "even if you do not remember them." An old Celaran came forward and handed Rin a small crystal sphere. When he touched it, an image formed inside it, a memory of himself standing with them, smiling. He saw himself leading them during a celebration, wearing the same pendant that now hung around his neck. Rin felt his eyes fill with tears. "I do remember this place," he said quietly. "It feels like home." Vera nodded. "It is your home. You once helped build this city. You brought light when the war took everything. You gave people hope when even I had none." They walked through the city together. Rin saw gardens that floated in the air, rivers that glowed with soft light, and children playing near trees that shimmered like glass. Everything felt peaceful, yet he noticed sadness in the eyes of some Celarans. Vera explained. "The war ended, but not without loss. Many of our worlds were destroyed. We are rebuilding slowly. The people still remember what they lost." Rin looked at her. "And you think I can help them again?" Vera smiled gently. "You already are. Your return gives them hope. It reminds them that even across galaxies, bonds cannot be broken." As they continued walking, Vera led him to a tall tower. From the top, he could see the whole city and the ocean beyond. The twin suns reflected on the water, making it look like a sea of silver light. Rin stood quietly, taking it all in. "It's beautiful," he said, "but it also feels different from what I remember." "It has changed," Vera said. "Time moves differently here. For us it has been hundreds of years. For you only a lifetime." Rin turned to her. "Then how are you still the same?" Vera looked at him kindly. "Our kind lives much longer than humans. Time touches us slowly, but it has felt long without you." Rin felt a deep warmth in her words. He could see the truth in her eyes. She had waited for him for centuries. As night fell on Solara, the city lights shone like stars across the land. Vera took Rin to a small balcony overlooking the sea. The water reflected the moons above them. "You have seen both worlds now," she said. "The one you were born in and the one you once belonged to. You must decide which one calls to your heart." Rin looked up at the twin moons. "I don't know yet," he said. "I love this world, but Earth is my home now too. I can't forget the people and the life I have there." Vera nodded. "I understand. The heart cannot be forced. I only wanted you to see what you truly are." They stood in silence for a while. The sound of waves reached them softly, and the stars above Solara glowed brighter. Rin felt calm, but also confused. He knew his choice would not be easy. When the first light of morning touched the sea, Vera spoke again. "Tomorrow we will return to Earth. You must follow what your heart tells you." Rin nodded slowly. "Thank you for showing me this," he said. "It feels like I found a part of myself I never knew was missing." Vera smiled. "That part was always inside you, Rin. You only needed to see it." The two stood side by side as the suns rose over Solara. For the first time in his life, Rin felt truly connected to something larger than himself. But deep inside, he knew his journey was not yet over. The morning on Solara was bright and calm. Twin suns rose above the shining sea, spreading silver and gold light across the sky. Rin stood on the balcony of the tall tower, watching the city below. Celerans moved gracefully through the streets, their silver clothing shining in the sunlight. The air was fresh and filled with a soft humming sound from the floating gardens nearby. Rin felt peaceful yet uncertain. He had spent 2 days on Solara, walking through its cities, learning about its people, and seeing the harmony they had created after years of war. Everything he saw was beautiful, but deep inside his heart there was still a quiet voice that whispered of Earth. He missed the smell of rain, the sound of birds, and the simple warmth of his home. Queen Vera entered the balcony, her silver gown flowing like water. Her eyes looked calm but held sadness. "You have seen my world," she said softly. "What does your heart tell you now?" Rin turned to her and said, "Your world is wonderful, Vera. It feels like a dream I had forgotten. But Earth is a part of me now. I belong there too." Vera looked into his eyes. "You speak as a human, yet you carry the soul of Solara. You are both, and that is what makes you special. But you must choose where to stay." Rin stayed quiet for a moment. "When I see this place, I feel proud. When I see you, I feel peace. But when I think of Earth, I feel alive. I want to protect both worlds, not just one." Vera smiled faintly. "That is what I admired in you long ago. You always wanted to unite, never divide. You believed that life everywhere deserved care." She walked closer and placed her hand on his shoulder. "Solara could use your wisdom again. Many of our people still live in fear after the war. They look to me for strength, but I'm not as strong without you." Rin looked at her gently. "You are stronger than you think. You kept this world alive while I was gone. You brought peace to your people. You never gave up." Vera shook her head slightly. "Peace came with a cost. Many lives were lost. There are places still covered in silence where cities once stood. I wish you could see how much we struggled to rebuild." Rin placed his hand over hers. "Then show me. Let me understand what your people went through." Vera nodded. "Very well. You deserve to see the truth." They left the city in a small craft that flew silently across the sky. The land below changed from shining towers to open plains and deep valleys. After an hour, the bright colors of Solara faded into shades of gray. The ground below was scarred and broken. Large pieces of black metal lay half buried in the sand. There were no trees, no life, only the whisper of the wind. "This was the central field of the war," Vera said. "Our enemies came from a system beyond the stars. They wanted our energy, our knowledge, and our people. We fought for years until the sky itself burned. When you were here, you helped us build a shield that saved the rest of the world. That was the last time I saw you before I sent you away." Rin looked around in silence. He could almost hear the echoes of battle, the sound of machines and fire. He saw small pieces of crystal scattered across the ground. They glowed faintly when he touched them. Vera watched him carefully. "You risked your life here. You refused to abandon anyone. You told me once that every life matters, no matter how small. That belief helped us survive." Rin stood still, staring at the horizon. "I may not remember all of it, but I can feel it inside me. I understand now why you wanted me to come back. You wanted me to remember why we fought." "Yes," Vera said, "but I also wanted you to remember us. I wanted you to remember me." Her voice softened. Rin turned to her. For a moment they both stood in silence, surrounded by the ruins of the past. "I remember," Rin said finally. "Not everything, but enough. You were my guide, my partner, my friend. I trusted you with my life." Vera's eyes shone with emotion. "And I trusted you with mine. You gave me courage when I had none. When I believed everything was lost, you reminded me of hope." The wind moved between them, carrying the scent of metal and sand. Rin took a deep breath. "Vera, I cannot stay here forever. My life on Earth may be small, but it is mine. I have people who depend on me. I want to help your world, but I also want to protect mine. Vera nodded slowly. I understand. You have changed, and that is not wrong. Humans are strong because they carry love even in the smallest moments. Perhaps that is what Solara needs to learn from you again. Rin looked surprised. You mean you would come to Earth? Vera smiled softly. If the stars allow it, there is much I wish to learn from your kind. Maybe our worlds can learn from each other. You once united Solara's tribes. Perhaps now you can unite our hearts across galaxies. Rin felt warmth in her words. For the first time, he saw a future that connected both of his worlds. Then let me show you what it means to live as a human, he said. Come to Earth and see it with your own eyes. Vera's expression brightened. If that is your wish, I will come. I want to see your home, your people, and the world that shaped you. They returned to the city before nightfall. The twin suns sank below the horizon and the stars filled the dark sky. From the balcony, Rin could see the lights of Solara glowing softly below. He felt a strange mix of peace and sadness. Vera stood beside him. Tomorrow we leave for Earth. You will have to help me understand your world. I will be a guest there. Rin smiled slightly. I will. You will see that even in a small world, there is beauty. Humans may be fragile, but their hearts are strong. Vera nodded. That is why I missed you so much. You taught me that love can exist even in darkness. I never forgot that. They stood side by side, watching the stars. Rin felt lighter now. The weight of confusion was gone. He had accepted both parts of himself, the man from Earth and the guardian of Solara. Tomorrow he would return home, but not alone. As the night deepened, the ocean below them shimmered with soft blue light. The waves carried a song that seemed to come from the stars. Rin closed his eyes and listened. The sound reminded him of both worlds and of the bond that connected them. He knew the next day would change everything again, but he was ready. The time had come to return to Earth, not as the same man who had once looked at the stars in silence, but as someone who had found his place between two worlds. The silver ship entered Earth's atmosphere at dawn. Clouds spread out below like white fields, and the blue ocean sparkled in the rising sun. Rin stood near the window, watching as his home grew larger beneath them. His heart beat fast with both excitement and worry. He had dreamed of returning to Earth for so long, and now he was coming back, not as the same man who left, but as someone changed by the stars. Beside him stood Queen Vera, wearing a long cloak made of soft white fabric. It shimmered slightly under the light. She looked calm but curious as she gazed at the blue planet below. So this is Earth, she said gently. It is smaller than Solara, but it feels alive. I can sense the energy of its people even from here. Rin smiled. Yes, that is Earth. It is noisy, crowded, and sometimes messy, but it is full of life. Every person here carries hope, even when times are hard. That is what makes it special. The ship landed quietly in a forest far from the city. Birds flew away in surprise, and the morning mist rose from the ground. As the ramp lowered, the scent of wet soil and green leaves filled the air. Vera stepped out slowly and looked around. It smells different, she said. It feels warm and soft. Rin walked beside her, breathing deeply. This is where I belong. Every sound, every smell, every breeze feels like home. Vera touched the bark of a tree and smiled. It is beautiful. The air carries the song of life. I can see why you missed it. They walked through the forest until they reached a small path that led to Rin's old house. It stood near the edge of a lake, quiet and peaceful. The walls were covered with vines, and the roof looked aged but strong. When Rin saw it, his eyes softened. This is where I lived before everything changed, he said. I never thought I would see it again. Vera looked at the house with wonder. It is small, but warm. I can feel the love that was once here. Rin smiled faintly. Yes, this place held many memories. It was simple, but it gave me peace. They entered the house. Dust covered the furniture, and sunlight streamed through the windows, lighting the air. Rin touched the table where he used to write and smiled. This table was where I planned my first trip to the stars, he said. I had dreams so big I thought nothing could stop me. Vera walked around studying the simple objects of human life. Every item here tells a story, she said softly. You humans treasure moments more than things. That is what makes your hearts strong. Rin looked at her. Maybe that is why you missed me. You saw something in humans that your world had forgotten. Vera nodded. Yes, when you lived among us, you taught us to care not only for power but for kindness. After you left, many tried to follow your ways. But without you, Solara lost its balance. I came back to find that strength again. Rin walked to the window and looked outside. Now that you are here, maybe we can both learn from each other again. You showed me the beauty of unity. I can show you the beauty of human life. For the next few days, Vera stayed with Rin and explored Earth in secret. She saw the busy streets, the laughter of children, and the endless noise of cities. She saw humans arguing and helping each other, building and rebuilding, never stopping even when tired. She was amazed by their spirit. One evening, they sat by the lake near Rin's home. The sky was full of stars, and their reflections danced on the water. Vera looked up and said, "Your world is so full of life and emotion." "It is chaotic but beautiful. I understand now why you could not forget it." Rin nodded. "That chaos is what makes us human. We make mistakes, but we keep trying. We fall, but we rise again." Vera looked at him with a gentle smile. "You are the bridge between our worlds. You carry both light and shadow within you. Maybe this is why fate brought us together again." Rin turned to her. "Maybe it was not fate. Maybe it was choice. You chose to come here and I chose to return. That means we both wanted this moment." Vera's eyes softened. "You are right. I wanted to see you again. I wanted to understand why my heart could not forget you." They sat quietly for a while, listening to the sound of water and night insects. The stars above seemed to shine brighter as if watching them. After a long silence, Rin spoke again. "Vera, will you go back to Solara?" Vera took a deep breath. "I will return soon. My people need me, but now I know they can learn from humans. Perhaps one day both our worlds can stand together in peace." Rin nodded. "Then I will help you. We can share knowledge and build a link between Earth and Solara. No more hiding, no more fear." Vera smiled warmly. That would be a future worth fighting for. The next morning, as the sun rose over the lake, Vera prepared to leave. Her ship stood waiting in the forest, glowing softly. Rin walked beside her, feeling both proud and sad. At the edge of the clearing, she stopped and looked at him. "You gave me something I thought I lost long ago," she said. "You reminded me of hope and love. I will carry that with me always." Rin smiled gently. "And you gave me purpose. You showed me that one person can change not just a world, but a universe." Vera stepped closer and placed her hand over his heart. "Then let this be a promise between us. No matter how far we are, our worlds will always be connected through this bond." Rin nodded. "I promise." Vera walked toward the ship, her white cloak flowing behind her. The ramp lifted slowly as she looked back one last time. "Goodbye, my human," she said softly. "Until we meet again." Rin raised his hand in farewell. "Goodbye, my queen. I will be waiting among the stars." The ship rose silently, passing through the clouds until it disappeared into the sky. The wind blew gently across the forest, carrying a faint shimmer of light. Rin stood there for a long time, watching the empty sky. He felt no sadness, only peace. The world around him felt brighter, as if the stars themselves were watching over him. He knew that one day their paths would cross again when the time was right. He turned back toward his home, the soft light of dawn falling across the lake. The water shimmered like silver glass. As he walked, he whispered to himself, "She missed me so much, and now I understand why." It was never about one world or another. It was about the heart that connects them. Rin smiled and looked at the sky again. Somewhere beyond those stars, the queen was smiling too, and for the first time in a long time, both of them felt truly home.